Victorian government's controversial pandemic bill is set to pass Parliament with a vote expected later today. Julia Bradley is live from Melbourne for us. Julia, a key crossbench MP has confirmed his support for the legislation.
That's right. That's exactly right, Tom. This support has come at the 11th hour from Upper House MP Rod Barton, who represents Transport Matters. Now, he has agreed to sign off to support this controversial pandemic bill that's been debated for some time already, and that is in exchange for a number of amendments to the bill that were debated last night between Rod Barton and members of the government. Now, this is a bill that will allow the Premier Daniel Andrews to declare future pandemics and then enforce rules. We know that Rod Barton has agreed to support this in exchange for those changes, but he has insisted this morning outside of Victoria's Parliament that there were no backroom deals done in exchange for his support. We've also heard from Premier Daniel Andrews on these developments.
This is a far better bill than what we had, and we have curbed the powers of this government. My relationship with the government and myself is frosty at the best of times. I've been battling them all the time, and I did what had to be done, which was right.
These are extraordinary arrangements because a pandemic is an extraordinary thing. It's not something that we face all that often.
The key amendments ensure that there is greater scrutiny and oversight of the Andrews government in relation to any future decisions regarding a pandemic. Also, that there is the end to the possibility of indefinite detention. The amendments that have been approved by the Andrews government include the establishment of a new panel that will oversee appeals to detention enforced by public health orders. This will move control away from the state government or the chief health officer. Public health orders will also be reviewed by a new parliamentary joint special committee, and that will be made up of a minority of government MPs chaired by someone from the crossbench or the opposition. We've also heard from the opposition leader Matthew Guy outside of Parliament this morning, and he has insisted that the government did not consult the opposition on this pandemic bill.
Yeah, they're Mickey Mouse amendments. They're not serious. The government wanted to get a serious piece of legislation through the Parliament. They had the offer from the Liberal and National parties. We were there to work with them. Our phone never rang. They never bothered to call, which means they wanted to play politics from the very start.
Now, this pandemic bill has sparked a lot of debate in Parliament, but also protests outside of Parliament. Today, a number of protesters have gathered on the steps, and they're being met by a heavy police presence. We spoke to one lady, a hairdresser. She said she's down here just to give haircuts to those who haven't been able to get one during the course of the most recent lockdown. The current state of emergency powers, Tom, are due to expire on the 15th of December. So the government will be doing what it can today to ensure that this passes as quickly as possible.